We are back for another Bow Disciples podcast episode on a different location. We're not in our home studio or home turf. We are with a special guest up here in a brand new state that you've never been to. The great
state unlocked.
New state unlocked, the great state of Oregon.
Great's a strong word, but this town is great.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair play.
And our guest is a guy who I had met briefly back in 2024 at Total Archery Challenge, Utah.
Yeah.
Same time I met Mr. Bomar and his wife and you and David. I met you all at the same time at the same place. But Greg and I, it was funny because I was so focused on shooting against Josh that we never really talked. We just saw each other.
Giant man in the corner.
Not really, because I was just focused on what I was doing. But I remembered after, and I was like, oh, we have met briefly. But we got Greg Poole here. Friggin'
What's going on, guys?
Legend, dude.
Well, I don't know. Let's not ruin a good thing, but I've been around for a minute, and I've been blessed and fortunate in the industry and met good people. So it's good to have you guys up here.
Well, I appreciate us being up here and the invite, but let's talk
And Mike.
I love Mike. Listen.
Mike is the center of the world, I suppose.
He is. He wants to be involved in the pod, which I'm here for.
Yeah.
But okay, so we came up primarily to film content for a couple of days.
Yes.
And we didn't really have a set plan on what we wanted to film, but we knew we wanted to do something arrow-wise because you FaceTimed me and said, your arrows are not good for what you're doing. And you weren't saying the victories were bad.
Right.
Or the vanes were bad. You were saying the way you have them set up is not good. It could be better.
Your build is not optimized. Yes.
Okay. And you said you're going to have the shots that are flyers right now will be reduced a lot if we do certain things. So let's just kind of start there and walk through. Obviously, there's full videos on the main Bow Disciples channel. People can go watch those to get in depth, but just kind of briefly run over what you saw that was wrong in the first arrow and just a 2-minute version of what we did to get it to where it is now.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, this is not a product issue. This is not a point or a arrow so whatever it's not any of those issues. It was literally just a construction, a build issue. And so I had seen some of the content that you were putting out and got a look at some things. I immediately thought you were undervaned. And so I shot you a call. We jumped on a FaceTime and I'm like, hey man, how long is that arrow? How much point weight, blah, blah, blah. And then show me the vanes and show me how much offset you had. And after all my Civil War LARPing, no offset, smooth bore jokes.
You haven't Civil War LARPed?
I have definitely not Civil War LARPed. I've LARPed, but it's not for Civil War.
It's a different story to hear later, but
hey, if you want to open the door about role playing, we can get there, but and so
it's on the Patreon channel.
Right. And so, and look, and here's the important thing that I want people to know is like, there is nothing wrong with like you going to your local pro shop and being like, hey, I want you to build me these. They're going to build you those how they do it. And if that particular shop is not a hardcore target archery shop that has people like myself to tell them things that for a lot of folks might be counterintuitive, like offset on the vanes or the size of vane, because it is kind of counterintuitive if you're not into it.
But we're back. Brief hiatus.
What were we on?
Greg was just finishing talking about the friggin' adding the rifling.
You had asked me how I thought.
Yeah, how do you think it's been going?
Explaining that I recently started to endeavor back into the world of arrow building. And it's just a whole nother level. Mm-hmm. And what's crazy about it is sounds so stupid, but simple.
Right.
You know, it's not rocket science. It's just a couple extra checks of different things that you probably don't check. You know, as much as like that little thing I don't know what it's called, the thing you're weighing them, or not weighing. I don't know what the heck it was, but something about some thowels or something.
Oh yes, the ram arrow spine checker to check straightness in the metal on the ends, to put a gauge on the inside to check the ID run out, and all of that.
Yeah, just, you know, extra little things that if you're gonna you kind of told a story yesterday about like parents who go out of their way to take their kids to these events and spend, I mean, you're reaching the thousands when you're talking about the travel, the flights, the hotels, the registration costs, the equipment, their food while they're there, all of it. And it's like, why not? If you're going to spend that much just to go, why not put those extra little steps in? Why not just maybe buy that, save up and buy that one extra tool to check that extra step? If you're going to make this a habit and a hobby, why not go that extra mile? And it was those simple little things on top of things that we don't have, which is the knowledge. But like, I wouldn't run that short of a Fletch, vein. I would go to whatever you went with. I don't 4
inches.
4, yes. Look at me go. I paid attention, guys. And that stuff you can't get without getting out there and talking to people who do this or have done this for a living. That comes with conversations, with, just all of it. And so it was very intriguing to watch. So it's also intriguing to see James as he ventures down the road of doing more and more of his own work on his bow stuff. That we can now take home with us is like, yeah, he'll use these arrows for forever, but we got 23s for an outdoor that we need to build now.
Right.
And so taking that knowledge and figuring out how to put more of a helical on my bits and burger.
Yes.
And maybe getting those extra tools that you showed me.
Yes.
So I don't know, it was very intriguing.
Well, I mean, so to answer your question is you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know until you realize you don't know. And you don't know until someone who does know tells you.
Points it out to you.
Yeah. And so, as far as all the tools go and all that stuff, that's all accumulated. I didn't come into this in 99 knowing all that. And so I had people, especially here in Klamath Falls, Alan Ruddick and Bob Gentry and Tom Neely and Cave Johnson up in Eugene at Spot Hog. And so like I had people that kind of helped me and got me rolling. And then of course it was a freaking rolling dumpster fire since then. And then I went down every rabbit hole you could possibly imagine. But, it's like if you think of, and I've used this analogy before, a guy will go out to go shoot his rifle and he'll go down and he'll buy the best ammunition he can buy, whether it's Federal or Hornady or Barnes or Nosler or whatever. And he'll go out there and think he's shitting in high cotton. Mm-hmm. And then he'll go to the range with a guy that's shooting shit at a mile. Yeah, he's not buying his ammunition at any store. He's building it himself. Every grain of powder matters. Every bullet is like everything. It's just different. And so for me, the whole idea of talking to James prior to this was, and I literally told him this, we can build you a better bullet. Period. And if you're shooting, if you want to shoot certain scores, you're not doing that with arrows that are not built to do it. Yeah. Talent aside. And so, for me, it's just a matter of utilizing not just the arrow building skills, but the bow tuning skills and all of that and all of that is just to allow James to do what James is capable of doing. That's it.
I mean, it's crazy too how immediate of a difference it made. And granted, we did more than just the arrows. Like I said, the videos will show more on the main channel, but like I told you, is like I never felt on any of the 10 rounds I've shot prior that I was not good enough to shoot a 300. I was actually like, how have I not shot one of these yet? How are all these are all 2 points short? But, and then when we went and shot today, I think I shot 17 straight of, clean rounds ish, not all X's, but the difference was not my shooting, if that makes sense. Oh, yeah. I felt like my shooting was the same. I felt the whole time I was capable of hitting better than what the results were. And now that we've done these changes, I feel like the results is more in line with how I feel the result should be with how I'm feeling shooting.
Correct.
You improve the accuracy, and by you, I mean Greg, improve the accuracy of your equipment. So, you didn't learn some trick overnight, of like your hand position or your, nothing.
Well, I mean, we didn't change. I mean, this is something that I think is going to be key for people. We didn't change your draw length. We didn't change your loop length. I'll get to the loop change I made, but we didn't change your loop length. We didn't change your peep height. We didn't change your bow hand. We didn't change your let off. We didn't change your draw. We didn't change hardly anything except for tuning mechanisms. And anyone that's ever came here to work with me, that's impressive. Because normally there's draw length issues. There's peep height issues. And you had none of that. And so to come here and build 6 arrows like we did, make the changes to your bow we didn't change anything fit wise. All we changed, well, let's just get into it now. So on your D-loop knock point setup, when I started to look at that, it was anyway,
suboptimal.
It was not optimized for high performance.
Right.
You had and he didn't do it, folks, but you had 6 tied, for a knock set, you had 6 above and 3 below. And I was like, what the fuck? What is this? This is, one, it's totally backwards. And number 2, unless you need to, you don't need 2 knock sets. Generally speaking, just one on the bottom is sufficient. Now, there are circumstances where you can run into certain knock travel issues, certain things where tying a small one above can help with some inconsistencies. You don't have that. All I did was cut that giant chode of knock sets you had above your knock, move the loop down till you got a good fit. And everything else I did was move your rest and move your cams. That's it. It's literally it. Well, and building the arrows is a whole nother matter, but yeah, we didn't change anything with the fitment of the bow, which is huge. I mean, and we didn't even address holding. We didn't mess with stabilizers. We didn't it was, yeah. And so that's part of the thing is you don't see, Usain Bolt running 9-second 100-yard dashes in hunting boots. There's a reason for that.
Yeah. You need the right tool you can put you put a hunting boot on the fastest guy in the world, he won't even be a top 1,000 in the world. He's got to have the right setup and the talent. You got to have both things. And, I don't know. It's crazy the differences too that I've noticed it's made, and I can't wait to get home and shoot a lot, which I am going to hold myself to, making the drive to the range and shooting at least every other day, which is way, way, way more than I've been shooting that bow. So, but yeah, I mean, even today, in the one legit round we did for score, which is 322X, I made what I would call 2 shots that I felt were not very good. And one was X and one was just out of the X.
Correct.
So I think that right there goes to show how the new setup is far more forgiving than what my prior setup was.
No question.
And we went to the 4-inch Boning Bronco vanes, but the arrows stayed the same. The Victory VTAC 27s.
Yep.
We did add drop point weight, sort of on accident, but it seems to be pounding, so just let it fly.
Yep. 200 grains, by the way.
200 grains, yep. And total arrow weight was about 575, I believe.
Yep.
But here's the deal. I'm going to change gears here. Greg is...
Wait. Hold on. I'm changing a touch, but not quite. So I was going to say I don't want to rush out of the subject.
Yeah.
But
these two are hilarious, by the way. For those, these two, hilarious. Good.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes, I love it.
So he's talked to you about how he's doing indoor and outdoor and his reasonings behind it and whatnot. So very similar to how you just made, similar-ish, I guess. Tuning changes essentially and build changes, but not fitment or anything with indoor. With outdoor, he had just done his first, not his first, because we've done this tournament a couple years in a row now, but in this whole series to shooting more competitions, I guess you could say. His first outdoor one, he won the Arizona Triple Crown in Yuma, but he did it with so he switched over his Proven, which is also meant to be a target rig as well as a hunting rig. Put on bars, stabilizer bars, those are the words I want. But outside of that, he did it with essentially his hunting arrows. He has a sliced string from a broadhead, a beast broadhead.
I got a new gas string, mate.
But he's going to get it changed.
I already did. New stringer, yeah.
But what would your opinions be? Because we were debating this for like getting it prepped for the next final preps for the next part of the series. He's hemmed and hawed, we've hemmed and hawed on putting a lens in his outdoor rig. Mm-hmm. And just now that you've gotten over the last 2 days to see his shooting and whatnot, I guess I would just want to know your opinions on changes or upgrades, mostly to like the lens and combo for an outdoor rig for him, because in his score, he had like, I could have counted 4 right off the top of my head, 10s, lens and moving to the VTAC 23s, I guess, your opinion. I knew 4 right off the top of my head at the end of the day that would have been 12s had he been shooting the 23s. Then we haven't addressed the build of the 23s. With that paired with the lens, not quite a few, I can compare to normal people, compared to James, because I don't consider him normal. 8s. If he had had a lens, do you think that paired with a proper arrow build would, just like it did with indoor, suction in those 8s to a lot more 10s and 12s?
What sort of an aiming reference? He wasn't using that giant monstrosity of a lit up dot that he was shooting indoors, right?
No, I was shooting the dual track black gold, so it's basically a single pin on a rail, vertical single pin, and I run a .10s. I like a very small dot.
Okay, so yes, that's bueno. Indoors, and I didn't know this until the end of the day today, folks. Dude's running an 8 power indoors. I don't have enough.
Call him normal.
I don't have enough lead in my pencil for that. So, seeing that you're running an 8 power indoors, and with that, the answer to your question combined with his fiber size, 100%. Now, with that being, yes, 100%. You would have. The only other caveat to that is the same thing I told him, is you can say that, but it's not in a vacuum. So going to a 23 diameter arrow outdoors, any wind on that thing at any distance, yeah, you're going to need to learn that game. So his hunting arrow was probably a 4 or 5 millimeter.
Yeah, 204.
Yeah, so 5 millimeter
comes with its cons for sure.
100%. And the reason you'll see like a Levi Morgan shoot a big fatty fat at an ASA is one thing, but then if you see him show up and it's windy, he's not shooting those. He'll go to a legitimate, 5 millimeter, 6 millimeter shaft of his.
Is he just making that change? Like, I think about it like he has a tape that's set for those arrows and a bow that's dialed into those arrows.
Correct.
And is he just full on like saying, oh, nope, I'm going to grab this bow that's tuned for these arrows? Or is he like on the spot just retuning that bow and putting on a new tape and just to match those arrows? Because
generally that, yeah.
These people are just nuts.
No, they're pros. And so, and Levi is a goat. Yeah. And so what he's going to learn is he can go out there with his 4 millimeter shaft. And yes, you can have a sight tape for up and down. There's no sight tape for left and right.
Yeah, right.
And so
that would be cool though.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be all weather dependent. If he goes out there and shoots out to 50, 60 yards, what's the max, right? 60 with a 23 and there's no wind. He's going to love shooting those. If there's a little bit of wind, he's going to be sitting there going, fuck, I wish I had my wish I had my 5mm, simply for the wind drift, because that's a variable that is much harder to account for than up and down. And so he's just going to have to learn that through experience. He may go out there the first time with 23s and come off of day one and say, I am never shooting these again.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Because
that might happen.
I've never shot those in a competition before. It's always been hunting arrows.
Right.
I call them hunting arrows, but the
smaller
arrows. And so I'm very interested to see this next shoot and not how it goes. Because again, we've talked about that. It's like, you don't give two flying F's how it goes, whether you win, you lose, you come in third, whatever.
I definitely want to win.
I know you do. Yeah. You're a competitive human, but like, that's not the aspect of the video. It's this whole, like, seeing what he can do and like, how to make it happen. It's just how I'm very interested to see his reaction to these arrows and, having the whole setup dialed and see if he likes it or if he wants the whole setup but still wants the little arrow.
Well, and there's also the consideration of total, what's the total arrow weight between the hunting arrow you were using and the 23s? Are they going to weigh the exact same? If they weigh the exact same, the tape's not going to be the exact same because just the wind drag, no wind left or right, just the standard drag of the arrow on a 23 compared to a 5mm, you're not going to run the same tape. Because if those arrows weigh the exact same, the bigger arrow is going to slow down faster.
Yeah, more drag.
Luckily,
I've been doing all my tapes for my buddy. Shout out to Joey. He's been doing them with the Precision Cut program, and it is very good. Man, have I been impressed.
Yeah,
I've been so impressed. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I shouldn't switch to the 23s, but I want to give it a shot and see. And then from there, make a decision if I want to go back to because I shoot the 204 is great.
Right.
But could I be better? Maybe. So, and I'm going to get a 4X lens.
One of those lines.
Well, I was just going to say, you're certainly not going to shoot an 8 power out there.
No, I'm going to do a 4.
Paige does, but
yeah,
she doesn't count.
Well, the reason I'm going to do a 4 is because the black gold dual track, you can only do a 2 or a 4. So I'm going to do a 4 and see how I like it. And yeah, I'm super excited, but... Okay, here's what I want to get into.
Okay.
I'm loving this, by the way. Brianna's fired up. The coffee got her
zipping. Very chatty person on podcast.
She is. She's an Energizer bunny, and the coffee's got her zipping.
For the record, we went to the Human Bean today, and these two wanted to bring 5-gallon buckets to get their coffees. So 32 ounces was all they could handle.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Finished half.
Yeah.
So Greg has sort of built this reputation, I would say, recently, of being kind of the controversial guy a little bit. Like, you'll say whatever on, Podium Archer podcast or on cams, like you don't sugarcoat stuff. So I'm curious, I'm going to ask 2 questions, one at a time though. What is the wackest thing in like the archery space right now in your view? Like the goofiest thing happening?
Probably the goofiest thing happening right now that I can think of but it's not even new. It's just finally now coming to light. 2 things. This one's not going to be popular. Number 1, there's 1 and 1A. They're equal. But the first one is the number of tournament archers that wear shooters jerseys.
Well, I do like that one.
Knock it the fuck off. I'm sorry. When you go to some of these events, not all of these events, 75% of the people are wearing shooters jerseys. That doesn't make us look good. You having 37 different logos, like I see people wearing shooters jerseys for archery shops and it has 3 bow company logos on it. What do you think you're promoting? Because that's part of the problem is everyone's like, everyone's all pro staff. It's not professional staff. It's promotional staff. And when every single person out there damn near is wearing a shooter's jersey, it dilutes it. And then wearing a shooter's jersey when you're Bodie Turner or Matthias Fullerton, you just blend in.
They look like everyone else.
Exactly. I do give credit to, now obviously, Bowtech is going to be, right now they got Paige and they're going to be hopefully rebuilding some stuff there. So but I give Hoyt some credit that, and that's probably a Zach and a Brian Gold and a Steve Anderson issue. There's no mistaking the difference between the Hoyt professional, the top dog jerseys and the others. You can't mistake them.
So they have two different levels of jersey.
Yeah, unless you're him or her, you don't get that jersey, and I'm all about it. So I think that we as a community, and it's the companies, it's the shooters, it's everybody. Like, we all have to include ourselves in it. There's too many goddamn people at events walking around and shooting jerseys, and it makes people that don't know any better think they're better than they are. Like, you see a guy in a shooter's jersey, you're like, man, that dude must be able to shoot. And he shoots arrows into the air and they don't hit the ground.
Oh, I've shot with those guys.
I'm telling you, and it just is a disservice to us. So that's one. The other thing right now is balancing it, and it's a marketing thing. I've mentioned this before, so this is not new. It's just not popular. But a lot of the marketing people we have in our space don't really understand the marketing side of what we do. Marketing in the outdoor industry is not the same as marketing in tennis or golf or UFC or any of that. We're a different crowd, not always in a good way. I say we because we have to describe it as we. And so for me, one of the other goofy things I think is happening right now, we got through look, man, sex sells. I get it. Sex sells Carl's Jr. hamburgers, for Christ's sake.
Well, I love those commercials.
I'm telling you.
Car wash commercial? Come on, baby.
Right. And I'm just, so that's just.
One right off the top.
Right. And that's just the way of the world. Nothing's going to change. So in archery, when some smoking hot chick comes out, not showing her butthole or nothing, just no OnlyFans shit. But when a smoking hot chick is in a well-fitting pair of jeans, in a well-fitting shirt, and she's shooting a bow, people are going to look at her. And so companies are going to want people looking at her holding their equipment. That's normal. The problem we have is called conversion. People aren't going to necessarily buy it just because said smoking hot person is using it.
Facts.
What happens in our industry, it doesn't work for Carl's Jr. and Ford and music videos and shampoo and colognes. I mean, when I see, I don't know if this is real, this is hyperbole, but when I see Brad Pitt with no shirt on, soaking wet, or Ashton Kutcher or whatever, and they're all wet and they're like, cologne, that doesn't make me want to go buy the shit. We want to know what it does? It makes her want to go buy it for you.
Yeah.
But in archery, we don't necessarily have that kind of conversion. No one looks, like when we see, I'm not even going to try to name any, when we see a good looking woman shooting a bow, you're not like, I'm going to go buy, she's hot, I'm going to go buy that for my wife. No, that's not how it works. And so for me, and we've kind of come over that hump where it's like the hot chicks are getting all these sponsorships and people are like, wah. Well, that's fucking life, man. But the conversion side of it, one of the goofy things I'm seeing right now is companies are not learning quick enough, because just be honest, hunting television is dying on the vine. In several years, the OC, the Outdoor Channel, Sportsman's Channel, Pursuit might hang on because it's the C team. No offense to them, but that shit's going to look way different. Like, you see them playing old Westerns and cooking shows now, well, you just hold on. It's going to look much different. And so right now what's happening is companies that are ahead of the curve are telling their people, their stars, their athletes, their shows, whatever, you better get your ass over to YouTube and Instagram. You better get over there, not TikTok. TikTok brings likes and clicks, but TikTok is not a conversion platform, especially unless you're selling in their store. But if you even mention on TikTok, if you make a TikTok video and go be like, hey, go check out my YouTube and my website, your shit will be seen by nobody.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They want it on their store. Yeah. So TikTok is just simply an eyeball thing. But the whole idea with TikTok is to get those because you're not, yes, there's some entertainment, but to convert, you need to get people to leave TikTok and follow your brand elsewhere. So it's okay for that. But what I'm not seeing right now that's kind of goofy is I'm not seeing companies adjust quickly enough to where these platforms, whether it's folks like you or the Hunting Public or Seek One or, you know, like the big established people, Lee and Tiffany's and Levi Morgan's and stuff, they're transitioning now. They're still on hunting television for now. But what I'm not seeing is companies adjusting quickly enough to that changing consumer dynamic that is both consumer driven and sponsorship driven. For instance, just go over to the YT and look at some of these platforms of the Hunting Public or, you know, Seek One or these bigger hunting platforms, and look at the freaking number of views and comments and up fingers they're getting. It is ridiculous. They're averaging 1 million views.
Yeah.
Hunting television has never done that.
Yeah.
And so the thing to me, it's goofy, but I think a lot of companies in the space don't have the marketing knowledge to be adjusting proactively. They're going to be reactive. And just like a lot of things in our industry, you can react after everybody starts to turn, but then you're behind and you can't buy your way back to the front. So for me, those are probably the two things that I'm seeing right now that just make me go, oh, come on, people.
That was thorough. That was thorough and good. And again, being newer to the target side, not ever shooting a national tournament, shooting like regional buckle series, things like that. Even I have thought that in the past, like guys will wear jerseys and they're shooting a crazy, what I at the time was like crazy target rigs, and then I friggin' smoke them by 50 points with my hunting bow shooting 300, and, you know, like, and it's like, why are they wearing a jersey? Like, so I understand what you're saying from just being around that
so much at local shoots, your local fun shoots, and it's like, this is a local fun. Let me re-emphasize and capitalize fun shoot. Why are you even showing up in your shooter's jersey? And you're like, the whole point of the jersey is promotional stuff, as you say. There are no cameras there. There's no prize money there. There is no magazine there. There is nothing there because it's capital F-U-N.
Right.
What is the point of your freaking shooters, other than the people there shooters, the shooters there who are seeing you wear it, I suppose, you know?
Chasing clout.
About it.
Chasing clout.
Exactly, that's it.
Chasing
I
clout.
have a dang shooter jersey sent to me from Gas. I do not in a million years deserve to have a shooter's jersey in my closet.
Now, I will say this about the shooters. Let me jump in.
You're not a good example.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting that because of your shooting ability or any of that.
Why are they sending it?
Because you're an entity.
Yeah.
That you're not a good example.
And let me throw in too about the shooter jersey. I had never even worn one my whole life. I had always shot in t-shirts and whatever. And then when I got the Gas jersey, when the big box of merch, I tried it at a shoot, and then I went, this is nice to shoot in. It, like as far as the material, it's nice. Yeah. So I'm gonna, don't worry, I'm gonna have some nice jerseys for Vegas. I can't wait. But
so if you were just you all by yourself, not like if you two were just two randos that showed up to shoot, you're right. You would have, you're not. So you're not
a different story.
You're not a good example for that because you are part of Bow Disciples and you guys are a thing.
Yeah.
So a shooter's jersey, you're not a good example for that.
But I do agree. You go to a local shoot, and I get it back in the day when there wasn't social media and cameras and the internet and whatnot. And, even showing up to a fun shoot makes sense to wear your jersey because like you're trying to promote that brand as much as humanly possible. And there are people there watching you shoot. But now it's just like.
Well, back then, back then when the guys walked in that had shooters jerseys, everybody looked. Everybody was like,
Yeah.
dude has a jersey on. And back then it wasn't comfortable material. It wasn't breathable material. It was terrible. But it meant something because you've earned it. And so those two things, those two things to me are really kind of some of the goofiness that I see right now. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff in our industry that's kind of back-asswards, but those two things right now are just two of the things that I just shake my head. Oh no, I got a 1C.
Okay, 1C coming down the pipe.
Right. Well, it's technically 1B because you said 1A, so it would also be 1B.
Correct. So this is 1B.
Okay.
Take a big gulp.
I'm on the edge of my seat right now.
Name me another sport on Earth. ERF. Name me another sport on Earth. When the people win, they have them stand up there and hold 8 checks. Y'all wait. The podcast will be forever. There are none.
I've seen plenty of them where guys will hold 1 check.
Correct.
Never 10.
Correct. But in archery, we have archers with sticks that have 8 fucking checks on them, or we have archers standing there trying to hold 6 different checks, and some of the checks are $50. I just think that is the cheapest, lamest representation.
Looking thing.
It is cheesy AF.
All right.
It is Chucky cheesy.
It is goofy.
There are no other sports on Earth where that happens.
All right. Here's my follow-up question. And if the answer's the same, we'll just skip it because it might very well be the same. But the same question, the wackest thing, but this time in hunting, not archery specifically, hunting specifically. You did sort of say it with the TV and the marketing. So if that's still the answer, we'll just move on. But if you have something, what would your answer for that be? That niche, not archery.
Specifically to hunting, I think the wackest thing is a saying. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh, a saying. I got it.
Oh, I took me a saying. I was like,
yeah, I got it.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Too much comparison.
Period. End of story. Everything ain't for everybody. If you saw me in the gym repping 315 on bench by myself, would you get all mad about it and call me a piece of shit? What a douchebag that guy is for being able to do that because you can't?
Nope.
No, you'd be like, that might kill me. Good for him.
Yeah.
But you're not that way anyway. But what I see, the wackest thing I see in hunting is comparison. And then that comparison steals their joy, and then they replace that joy with jealousy, not envy. Envy is different than jealousy. I'm envious every time Lee Lakoski goes to freaking the Yukon and shoots one of those sons of bitchin' mooses.
Yeah.
but you're not jealous.
I'm not jealous.
Yeah.
I'm envious.
Jealousy is a nasty
Poison.
It's one of the worst traits. That and fear,
Yeah.
terrible for people.
Fear's a liar.
Fear's bad.
Fear is a liar.
Do you know how many people in life have not even got off the starting blocks because they're too scared to do anything? One of the memes I share every time, I see Gary Vee post it pretty often. Gary Vee's a legend. Shout out to Gary Vee. But he always shares a picture of like a brand new set of boxing gloves and a beat down, worn out pair of boxing gloves. And one above it says, talking about it, doing it.
100%.
And a lot of people are the shiny glove on the left.
That's right.
And they are not doing it. And I think that I was a biker, you know, and the reference I like is calling people, you got to let the brakes go. You're not going to make it over the jump if you don't have the speed to clear it.
Right.
You got to just commit and do it. And might you go long and get really hurt? Maybe. But at least you tried.
Right.
And to me, that's better than leaving the bat on your shoulder.
Right. Well, and I mean, how many times have we seen somebody, and we could name a plethora of people from Josh Bomar to Lee Lakoski to Michael Waddell to name them, the Drurys. You can go back ever. And people are like, I could kill those animals too if I had the access that they do. Well, motherfucker, you don't. Shut your mouth.
And if you want it, go earn it.
You haven't earned the right to have their access. There are people that hate on Cam because him and Joe get to go hunt in San Carlos. Get on the list, bitch. Put up your money. or shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's the problem, is people see other people doing things that they haven't tried to do. It's not that they can't. They just haven't tried.
Because they're too scared.
Because they're too scared. And so,
or jealous. And
or both.
That's the big, like, one, I'm not going to use like I'll talk a tiny bit about the female thing in a second, but it's the same thing. Like, it just, I don't want to hear the nonsense of, well, they got the money to do it. I can't get on the list because I don't have the money. Well, yeah, sure. They get to do it every year because they have the money, but also they put in a boatload of work to make that money. And maybe you only make that money once in your life. Well, do you have a savings account that's labeled, Yukon Hunt or whatever, and you're putting your money in? Maybe you only get to go once in your life, but at least you're putting the money in to go. No, you're not. So fuck off and stop talking about it or getting mad or 100%. Being jealous or calling them rich bastards or whatever, because it doesn't matter. You could do it. Even if you could only do it once versus they did it 10, you could do it. You're just not trying. Your level of effort is 0.
You want someone to give it to you.
It's also
and they didn't get it given to them. Like, I don't understand where that concept comes from at all.
Because people don't understand how it works.
Yeah, we talked about this on like the whole drive up intermittently. It's just like, you don't see the back end work that they're doing to make the podcast just doesn't show up on Cam's channel. The scheduling of the people coming to talk, the work that he does. I mean, you don't just magically start running 200 miles.
No. And here's the thing, right? With stuff like this, there's two ways to look at it and then adjust, run your life one of those two paths. You either look at a Cam Hanes and his San Carlos hunts and all the dope shit he gets to do because he's earned it. You either look at it and go, God, I hate that guy. He's so only cares about his image and blah, blah, blah. Or you go, I'm inspired by that.
Right.
I'm gonna get up and try to. I'm gonna go get it myself and put in the work and try to attain goals. And you look at people who have done more to inspire to try to get to where they are, or you see them and you respond with envy and jealousy, and you never get the shoulder off your bat, and you just watch 3 strikes go down the middle, go back to the bench.
Right. Well, and that's the whole thing, and we see it with everything. And people are like, they want to blame their lack of effort and their lack of results on someone else putting in the work they didn't. And so whether it's Cam or any of these people, everybody, and look, man, let's just be honest. The outdoor industry is extremely toxic. It's extremely toxic. We will consume our young. I was about to make a joke about a list that probably shouldn't have been, so I'm just not going to make that joke. We literally consume our young. Mm-hmm. We consume our old. We consume anyone. I just saw a thing the other day on some other podcast, and they said that not out here on the left coast, baiting is not a thing on the left coast. We don't bait. One, because we don't know where the goddamn animals are most of the time. We got to go find them. So baiting is not a thing. But in the Midwest and the East, baiting is, dude, it can literally be legal here, but not legal across the street. It's the dumbest thing ever. And I don't remember what state it was in. I want to say Pennsylvania, but that might not be right. Don't hold me to that. But this guy said that 90% of hunters in this particular state are illegally baiting. 90%. But if Lee or Josh Bomar or whoever legally bait, they're the biggest pieces of shit the world's ever seen, and you need to burn their whole
animals over feet.
Burn their career to the ground. They're the biggest losers ever. When 90% of hunters out there are illegally baiting, these guys don't even illegally bait and just get accused of it, and people want to burn their career down. So is that only the 10% that are not illegally baiting? And then what is illegally baiting? So you can pull up a dump truck and dump 50 tons of corn in one place, and that's illegal. But if you plant 50 acres of corn and then just leave it, that's fine.
Or yeah, that's always been a goofy one. And same with sitting water is legal in most places.
Right.
What's the difference between sit in water or feed? It's really not inherently all that much
They're
different.
gonna come to both.
But the perception, you're right, is looked at totally different, which I just think, I've said it a million times, but with hunting, I think the main thing, especially with states like Oregon and California, constantly going after hunting rights, to me, it's so important to just, even if you hunt one way, but someone else hunts a different way that's legal and ethical, you have got to be on the same team because we need strength in the small numbers that we do have.
Right.
We have to band together and work together to fight back all these bullshit legislation laws that are getting attempted to push through.
Correct.
Look at California. It's lost mountain lion hunting long ago, lost bobcat hunting a couple of years ago. They've attempted with bears numerous times. That's going to continue to happen. It is. And the only way we're going to fight it is not by bickering amongst each other. It's going to be by banding together, signing the ballot measures, donating the money, things like that. So it's important to remain educated about all those things and not hate on people who are doing things a legal way. That's not the way you do it.
Correct.
Yeah, so we talked about that on the last podcast with Privileged BH, but I'm just going to amend what you say a little bit, and I know you'll agree with me. Like, bickering, no. But you actually taught me this term today when I learned the title. Infighting is what it's called. I still do think conversations amongst your community that don't agree should always happen. Otherwise, there will never be change and improvement. But bickering, no. And the one thing that gets me, again, if we're all working towards a common goal of conservation and keeping hunting rights and improving them over time consistently, bickering just makes zero freaking sense. And I think I can't say that the women's community does it more than the men's because there are more men. But maybe per capita women do. It blows my mind. Like, we talked about this at dinner last night. By the end of the hunt, I ain't got no eyelashes on. I ain't got no makeup on. And luckily, y'all can't smell through the camera. But that doesn't mean the woman who wakes up an hour early is wrong for putting on her eyelashes and her makeup. Shut the F up. You're just jealous. That's all it is. Like, that woman is still out there working hard to harvest an animal, just like I am. I'm just too lazy to get up and put my eyelashes on. You know, so why do we get on the social media and be like, all these fake women and, they're just using, like you said, sex sells. That's all they're doing. They're just trying to get sponsors, blah, blah, blah. Who gives a F? Well, they're getting paid because they're getting sponsors. Good for them.
Right.
And I'm not saying you can't be pretty without your makeup on, because I get on the camera without my makeup on and eyelashes on and whatnot, my hair done, and I'm got 10 days worth of oil in my hair. But that doesn't mean we should hate on them for doing it. Right. Whether, one or the other, just work together. Like, you don't have to call them out for doing it. That's what makes no sense in our industry. That whole, what did you call it? About your reason in the hunting side. You're saying.
Oh, comparison is the thief of joy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like, just give them props for getting out there looking good and still hunting.
Right.
And I do want to make a point that in any niche sport or activity, the same stuff happens in all of them.
For sure.
It's not just hunting. It's not just archery. You go find a girl who rides motocross, and there'll be plenty of guys in the comments. Oh, is she actually riding, or what? I didn't know it was a beauty pageant to go riding.
She did.
It happened.
From sitting on her couch.
It happens.
Right.
It happens all the time, and it is goofy. But just I think the more people could just look at people.
Are we arguing about the right thing?
Yeah, just look at people from a lens of inspiration more so than a lens of jealousy and envy. Right. That can change everything.
Well, I think the precursor to a lot of that is selfishness. And the guys that are like, people nowadays are like, everybody just wants to shoot big bucks. No shit.
Everyone's always wanted to shoot.
Like, that's not new.
Yeah.
Like, dude, who the fuck are you? What? Where the fuck have you been? Have you not looked at pictures from the fucking 40s?
Oh, dude.
Like, they're holding bucks like this every day.
Yeah.
Like, duh.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. for the most part, it's a competition between you and the animal. And yes, you want to go experience, and it's why it's called hunting, not killing. Yes, you want to harvest the animal. You want to be out in the woods. You want to experience all of that. But it's a competition. And those animals are not dumb.
No.
Yeah.
And so, but the selfishness comes in when it's, oh, well, that guy only gets that because he has this. Okay. And
Yeah.
like my biggest thing whenever I'm talking to someone that has that kind of that hater mentality is I'll be like, what do you do for work?
What do you do? Question.
What do you do for work? And there is not a fucking job out there and I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, and it's the haves and the have-nots. And so and I'll just it doesn't matter who it is. Someone is always going to be the have and someone is always going to be the have-not, but those two things can invert instantly. I'll just use Joe Rogan or Cam Hanes or anyone as an example. Let's just use Cam. Cam is the have when it comes to a lot of things. He's the have when it comes to running marathons and going to hunt the San Carlos and going to Tucker Carlson's birthday and hanging out with Joe Rogan. Do you think when he has an electrical problem in his shop that he fixes it himself?
No.
What does he do?
Call someone up.
Cam is the have not. So now Cam, for all of his haves, needs to call somebody else because he's a have not when it comes to being an electrician, or when it comes to fixing his truck or replacing his transmission or whatever it may be. Someone is always the have and someone is always the have not. And those two things can be inverted that quick. And it doesn't matter who you are. And so if you're so upset that in this particular situation, you happen to be the have not, first of all, boo fucking who. But that's why I always ask, what do you do for a living? Because no matter what someone does for a living, there is always an example of them being the privileged.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with race, color, sex. Fucking makes no difference. It makes no difference. There's always examples of someone that thinks they're the have-not. There's always an example of them being the have and someone else being the have-not. And then you can, when you show them that they're the have, not the have-not, you go, okay, now what? Do you want that person to hate you because you're the have now? Or is a Cam Hanes, because of his level of have, does he deserve your hate because you think his have is so far above your have not? Well, you may be the very kind of have that Cam Hanes needs for something. So what then? What then?
Yeah. I had a buddy lay out the exact same example very clearly. He said that he's a business guy, right? That's what he does. Makes a lot of money, coaches people how to make a lot of money, and he's very successful. And he made the example that, hey, look, I love guitars. I collect a lot of guitars, and I have a lot. But I am not a great player, but that's not what I'm here to do. There's plenty of guitar guys that I look up to. I'm like, man, they're sick. I would like to learn from them. It's never looking at them to hate on them. And then they look at him as, man, that's so cool that dude's good at business.
Right.
Because that's their haves. Mm-hmm. Good example. Yeah, I think you're dead right there. Another thing I wanted to get into was we both have done Podium Archer podcast plenty of times, or I've done it plenty of times. You've done it once.
I've done it once.
And it's a fun show. Great guys.
Josh and Brandon were fun to have a conversation with. I like those guys.
Yeah, and I consider both of them good friends of mine. They recently got in a little bit of a conundrum with a podcast they did with Todd from Bowtech, and I happen to know all three of them, right? Yeah. And it's an interesting spot for me because I'm friends with both of them, but I'm also signed to Bowtech and I've shot them since 2005. So I have a relationship with both and all three people involved. Mm-hmm. And the comment section, I'm used to seeing Bowtech get bullied and pushed around constantly and made fun of lately in comment sections.
Well, that's not lately. It's pretty much been forever. Yeah.
This was one occasion where that didn't happen. Mm-hmm. Most people actually sided with Todd and Bowtech and not Josh and Brandon, which, to be honest, is not what I expected. Mm-hmm. But and again, I don't think Josh and I don't think anybody, I'm just having a conversation about it. Mm-hmm. I don't have a beef with anybody or any brand in the situation, but you're aware of what happened. What do you think? And what was your read on kind of the whole situation there?
And I'm happy to share it, but I will also tell you before I share it that I shared it with Josh I shared it to Josh, and I shared my opinion to Todd. So anything that I'm going to tell you is not something I haven't already said to both of them. I think it's important to put that out there so someone doesn't grab a soundbite and be like, holy shit, did you see what Greg? I don't have anything against Bowtech or Todd, and I like Josh and Brandon as well. I think that was a comedy of errors. And number one, when once again, I told them both, when Bowtech declined coming to Nashville to do the podcast in studio, it's my opinion that Josh just should have said, then we're not doing one. That's it. Everybody else came here. If you're not going to come here, then we just won't do one. No problem. Error number one. Number two, apparently they did it at the ATA, and there was a booth next to them that was still doing construction and stuff. And all of them, Todd, Brandon, and Josh, none of them had the thought process to be like, okay, this is a bad start. Let's either wait. Let's just not do this at all. Or Josh say, I'm going to get a pizza and some sodas coming. We'll eat some pizza, wait for them to finish building the booth, and then we'll continue. That's kind of on all of them to say, like literally you just have to read the room and be like, if we were doing this podcast right now and I was getting the driveway replaced and there was a guy out there with a jackhammer, we'd be like, we should probably wait. Yeah, we should probably wait for this. And so that's the other one. Then when it comes down to, some of the questions and the things, like, look, let's just be honest. There's just no scenario. And I know, and look, I can't blame Josh and Brandon for wanting to talk about hot topics. Duh. Yeah, you want to. And Bowtech does have some hot topics that they need to talk about. Some they haven't even talked about yet that are a couple years old that they need to. I don't work for Bowtech. I've only met Todd once, so I really don't have much to say about, I have my opinion on it, but how they handle their marketing and stuff is their business. But, the truth lawsuit with Bowtech, well, that's turned into a whole level of fuckery at this point. But Todd's not going to be able to talk about that, not without getting fired. Oh, not just getting fired. I doubt Todd even knows. So that part, that was just never going to be a thing. The other issue they wanted to talk about, I haven't seen Bowtech, and I've been watching, I haven't seen Bowtech make a statement on that particular shooting staff situation ever. Do I believe they need to? You're goddamn right. I still think they're getting their teeth kicked in over what happened a couple years ago, and I don't know why they haven't addressed it yet, but anyone that's telling them they don't need to is wrong. So then we get to the fact that all of that starts, and then, and Todd felt, and I didn't think the podcast was terrible. Like,
I don't think so either.
Yeah. It wasn't the greatest Podium Archer podcast ever. Just period. I'll say that. Yes. But it didn't start off fantastic with Bowtech not going to Nashville. It didn't start off well with the energy of having a booth being built next to you with metal piping and draping, clanking and hammers and drills. And so things were just snowballing. And so I don't think that the biggest misstep there was the non-Todd included intro. Mm-hmm. I think that was a misjudgment. I understand what Brandon and Josh were trying to do. I totally get it. I get it. And I don't think it was intentionally meant to harm Bowtech in any way. I think that they just recognized that the podcast did not go as good as they had hoped. They had podcasts with John Lene from Bear, Zach Kurtzall from Hoyt, Joe Maxfield from Matthews, like Gaius Carter from PSE. So like they had a unit of measure for bow company podcasts. And so they wanted this Bowtech podcast to at least be in the ballpark and in the conversation with all of their other bow company podcasts. I can't blame them for that. When that
the thought process is there, that the reason they put in an intro is that you do have that level of measure. And so in some way you want to recognize that to the audience, you know, but then it goes, I think, just maybe a little bit beyond just recognizing that things weren't to the level that their typical bow review podcasts are.
Yeah. I think they were trying to pre-justify a podcast that didn't reach the level that their other bow ones did. It's not Todd's fault. It's not even their fault. It's everyone's. Like, everyone gets the smoke here. And like I said, I told Todd and Josh this to their face. Well, one was over the phone, but so this is not anything new. I like both the guys. I'm not trying, but this was a comedy of errors and everybody gets the smoke. There's not. Yeah.
It's too funny that happened to Bowtech.
Dude, well, then there's that. But so I think that what Brandon and Josh were trying to do is understandable. They were trying to preface, hey, look, this didn't go exactly how we wanted. This didn't go how we thought it would go. And so I understand what they did. That was probably not the best idea, though. I'll bet you they never do it again. I'll bet that at this point, Josh and Brandon will be like, all things being equal. Like if they decide to go remote with the podcast, that's a different situation. But I'll bet you in the future, if they do this again and a company goes, excuse me, nah, we don't want to come to Nashville, they'll just go, okay, next. Mm-hmm. This will be a good lesson for Josh and Brandon. And I mean, not to glaze them too hard, but dude, they're kind of new to this too. Like,
yeah, and their podcast is great. I mean,
the podcast is great.
So many good episodes. It looks great. The
conversations they have are great. Yep. And I don't think that, like, to what you just said exactly, because that could be interpreted in multiple ways. I don't think that should be interpreted negatively toward Josh and Brandon at all.
No.
It's a level of precedent that they have set for their podcast. It's the view that they want. They've put time and effort into, lighting, sound, like they want a level of an environment that they've created there in their studio, within the shop. And that experience that the person has coming, in a small sense, kind of like when you go to do Cam's show or you go to do Joe Rogan's, there's a level of an experience they want you to have when you come there. Yeah. They want you to come and experience the shop and then do the podcast and meet them in person. And being in person plays a big factor, I think, in podcasts too.
It's equal ground. I mean, to your point, you just said it. Joe Rogan had Donald Trump on, and Donald Trump showed up. Well, his people showed up the day before, but Donald Trump showed up, signed the release. They sat down for 3 hours, and Trump flew to Michigan and was late for his rally. His competitor, Mrs. Kamala, wanted Joe to fly somewhere, could only do 45 minutes, needed all the questions in advance, wouldn't come to Austin. And Joe's like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. That's Joe maintaining equal ground for everybody that comes on.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that's exactly what Josh and Brandon needed to do, but that's my point here is I think that our industry, especially via the internet and social media, we lack a lot of grace. We give some people way too much grace that don't deserve it, generally not stars. And then stars that deserve, or people that are coming up that deserve grace, don't get it. Like, you may not like Cam Hanes, to go back to Cam real quick, but look at what he's done for our sport.
It's immeasurable.
And if you don't like the fact he shirts with his shirt off, fuck you, man. No. Show the guy a little grace. That's what he does. He's shredded up. I'm jealous. If I look like Cam with my shirt off, I'd be doing this interview right now with my shirt off. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And so for Brandon and Josh, they are good. They're good people.
Yeah.
their heart's in the right place, and they're learning this on the fly.
I would make argument that almost everybody is learning everything on the fly in life generally. It's like, I think a lot of people that you might think, man, that dude has it figured out, or that girl has it figured out in whatever industry. And if you were in her head or his head, they're probably going, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just figuring it out and going.
You don't know until you've learned it.
In one way or another.
Yeah.
In one way or another. I've been doing this for a long time. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of shit that I'm just on cruise control because I've seen it so many times and I've done it. And then there's other times I'm like, whoa, hold on. Time out.
Yeah.
I need to process this before because my normal reaction, because there's always nuances. Yeah, 100%. And so, I give Brandon and Josh grace on this one simply because it's a learning process. And I promise you they learned a lesson. And so, I don't hold it against them, and I don't hold it against Bowtech or Todd in any way, shape, or form. Really, I guess the only thing that I would say to Bowtech is, y'all should have went to Nashville.
Yeah.
And the only thing I would say to Josh, which I did, was when they didn't come to Nashville, you should have said tough shit. So who's to blame?
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of my thought process on that, but they're all good people. And that's just what it is.
Now, let's go back to one thing you said, though, because you don't work for Bowtech, so you can say whatever you want. You talked about two things. There's the truth thing, which, again, that's all legal stuff that you can't really get in, people can't get into who are within it. Mm-hmm. That makes common sense. But back to a couple years ago, Bowtech let go 2 shooters, and it made an uproar in the community of archery.
Mm-hmm. Still is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
opinions on it, because you don't work for Bowtech, so you can give whatever you want. How do you think it went? How do you think they handled it? Do you think it was right for them to let them go, or wrong, or your reasons, opinions, things, thoughts?
Number one, it's their business. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Period. Full stop. End of sentence. Like the First Amendment, you have the right to say whatever you want. That doesn't mean you're free of consequences.
Yeah.
And so Bowtech they were welcome to operate their business however they felt they needed to within the confines of the law. And what they did, and what you're referring to, is the termination of Tim Gillingham and Kyle Douglas. Their contracts were different, but as I understand it, Bowtech did not illegally, they didn't violate any laws in terminating them the way they did. Each one had different clauses, and so there was no lawsuits resulting from it. So that's a big thing. And so I'll say that first.
Yeah.
Do I think it was a good idea? Fuck no. That was not a smart idea. That was dumb. That was really dumb. But the thing that surprises me, but hey, it's their business to run. But to your point, I don't understand why Bowtech has not addressed it in any kind of way. Mm-hmm. I don't know everybody that works there at the marketing department. I don't know everybody and you have to understand, Bowtech is not in, but Bowtech's owned by Pure, which owns Savage. So Savage Firearms, not a small company, basically oversees everything at Bowtech. Well, Bowtech ain't, no offense to anyone, but Bowtech ain't shit compared to Savage.
Yeah.
And so Bowtech's going to be the third wheel. It's going to be the third wheel in funding. It's going to be the third wheel in resources. It's going to be the third wheel in everything.
It's like that in so many archery businesses, they are just like what Victory's owned by Mitsubishi.
Correct.
Do you think that the Victory arrows are more important than their cars and everything else that Mitsubishi owns?
Yeah, golf clubs and everything. Well, and no, to that point, I mean, and I've told Steve Greenwood this to his face. Love you, Steve. The Mitsubishi does not give Steve Greenwood the funding he needs to put Victory's marketing where their product deserves to be. Mm-hmm. The product is great. They have no product issues. If Victory was allowed to actually bring in a gangster for marketing, they would be a problem. They're already making a great product. Steve's not, I don't think Steve's allowed to bring in the people that he really, really would need to turn their marketing into a real juggernaut.
Yeah.
Is that because the owners of Mitsubishi are Japanese and are probably not super fond of killing things? I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows? But they're just not, and you can see it.
Yeah. Maybe that is again, they didn't necessarily, like you said, maybe address it in a way that it should have been, going back to the two shooters.
Correct.
And granted, you're not going to come out, even if it were the case that, like, financially, funding wise, it just doesn't make sense to pay, we can't afford to pay these, or whatever the case may be. Again, that's their business's priority. And at the end of the day, it is a business.
But it is also a community. Mm-hmm. And so here's what I would say to that from my knowledge of the situation. And this is just what I know to be facts. This is not speculation. This is not speculation. I'm not guessing. I'm not going to, but I know and talk to a lot of people. And so here's what I know of that situation. That decision didn't come from within Bowtech. People at Bowtech didn't make that decision. That decision came from above them. And so when the decision was made, it was just as big a surprise to them. I don't necessarily think it was just a financial decision. I think it was a decision. Let's see, what's the best way to put this? I know that was a decision made by someone at the corporate level that is, number one, no longer there. And number two, they have new folks involved at the corporate level. And when I say corporate, I mean above Bowtech. Like when we say corporate level at Hoyt, I'm talking Zach Kurtzall, Jeremy Eldridge, Tom Driffel, etc. When we say corporate level at Matthews, we all when we say corporate level at Bowtech, well, right now we're talking about Savage. And those people don't know archery. And so they made a business decision based on the books without understanding what the downstream effects would be. Mm-hmm. So my opinion, that decision was made at a corporate level that no one at Bowtech was aware of or had input in. That person is no longer around. I do know that. And so with that being said, what I see happening right now, and apparently there were some more changes at Bowtech and a new gentleman. I don't know the guy, but apparently there's a new HNIC over there. And if you don't know what that means, Google it. And he is going to be trying to get the ball back headed in the right direction. So I just wish Bowtech would come out and just acknowledge and say, hey, at Bowtech, not corporate, because the person at corporate that made the decision is not even there anymore. I wish Bowtech would just come out and say, hey, look, we didn't want to make that decision. It wasn't our decision. That's what happened. We wanted to keep them because Kyle and Tim were crushing it for them. And so just basically say, hey, that's what happened. It wasn't what we wanted to do. That corporate entity is no longer here. And what I see for the future of Bowtech is I see this guy now is going to start trying to rebuild kind of some of that grassroots support that Bowtech had. And yes, their staff's never been huge. It's probably never going to be huge. And so, with that being said, I am not sure Bowtech still understands the damage that situation is doing to them to this day. And just coming out and saying something about, it's not what we wanted to do either, where it's unfortunate. We loved Kyle and Tim. Now we have new people in place and we are going to start moving we're moving forward, trying to make the best product we can. And we want to just show the community that, that's not what we wanted to do. And it's not going to, we just want to rebuild that relationship with the archery community. That's all it would take. Yeah. Or some version of that, of course. They'd probably have to run it through their corporate filters, but you get the point. Just come out and say, yeah, that sucked, but that wasn't our decision. It came from above us, and that above us is no longer here. And, we just want to rebuild and show you guys that you can trust us. And because I still hear about it all the time. And so, especially
you being more involved in the target world than we obviously are.
And I'll be honest with you. At the time, I was like, Bowtech is retarded with an H, retarded. And then once I learned about it, I'm like, shit, that wasn't even a Bowtech decision.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Because then you know, it's like, and that happens in stuff all of the time, but like you only see what you see.
Correct.
So you put the brand that you think that you see on the name for the hate.
Yeah.
And it actually had nothing to do with them.
Correct.
It's
And
like, you know, now everyone's out there hating a bow that's a company that's it's a great, we wouldn't shoot it if it's not a great bow. Like, all bows are great nowadays, but like, it's a great bow. It's a great company. But you just see the letter come out that says those two shooters are no longer with us. And you're like,
with the Bowtech logo on top.
Yep.
I don't know who runs their
Really
I don't know who runs their PR over there, and I don't know who runs their marketing over there, but that was
My logo
not
that day.
that was not super well handled, in my opinion. I've been, fortunately and unfortunately, I've had to navigate several PR nightmares in my last 20 plus years doing this, and I don't know if they had the inner dialogue and resources to actually handle that the way that would have put a reasonable end to it. But I can tell you right now, I was one of the guys was like, I did a podcast about it right when it happened. It's their business to do, but what the fuck are you thinking? Mm-hmm. But then when you learn, well, yeah, it was Bowtech's, logo on top of that letter, but no one at Bowtech was the one that wrote it. Like,
They didn't make the decision.
They didn't make the decision, and that's huge. Mm-hmm. But also at the same time, then how do you, I'll just use Todd as an example. I don't know who else works with him in marketing. I'm ignorant on that. Well, Todd's not going to arbitrarily come out and be like, yeah, it was freaking Savage did it, not us. Yeah, you're fired.
Yeah.
And so I'm not familiar with the inner workings of that, but I can tell you right now that, I still hope someone at Bowtech or above, or this new guy, I don't know his name, can grasp the weight of that decision and that it's still affecting the company to this day. And just come out and he doesn't even have to own it because it wasn't his decision. And the person whose decision it was isn't there anymore.
Yeah. It's a delicate community. The outdoors community, and Target is another, it's a sub, well, I wouldn't even call it sub, because like Target, I think you've said it on podcast before, like that drives the hunting and archery
marketing arm.
Yeah. But when you fracture that in some way and letting go to major, shooters like that does fracture the arm of your business. What is the plan in place to repair it?
Yeah, it breaks that trust.
Publicly.
Yeah, it breaks that trust.
Yeah. Now, I know I dominate podcasts. So do you have anything before because I'm going to continue into this. But
one thing that I want to add to that is I just did a podcast here a while ago with the new guy over at Faradyne and Carbon Express. And Faradyne has had a similar, probably worse, public relations
snafu
issue for a long time. And he just basically came on there and did just that. He's like, yeah, it's totally not. Yeah, they ruined brands, but that CEO's gone. That CFO's gone. The guy that was, they're all gone. We got new people, and the new people are dedicated to these brands. Okay, now what? Now what are you going to say? He literally came on the podcast. His name's Zach. Nice guy. And he was literally like, oh, yeah, all that happened. And those were not good decisions. But those people are gone. Here we are. We're going to try to rebuild it. Mm-hmm. And we hope people can give us an opportunity to trust us. But yeah, that stuff that happened, that happened. And we're bummed about it, but those people are no longer involved and we're moving forward. What else do you want a company to say?
Yeah.
Like, what else do you want them to say?
The kind of transparency you're offering to your consumers.
Correct.
That allows them to continue trusting you.
Yeah.
Because when you put the blockade up, there, unless you're going to break it down some way down the road, there is no transparency for them to say, well, that does suck, but at least you admitted that, there's a way forward, or, something you threw a lifeline out somehow. Mm-hmm. And what's crazy is like, that seems so like, why is that sound? Why haven't they done it? Or why hasn't another brand do it? Or why did they just do it for, Faradime or whatever? That is so normal outside of our community. Like, a press release is such a... I've written 1 million press releases, probably not 1 million, but over 100. And it's like, it's so common in other companies, an update to a press release or an amendment or whatever. Like, just come out and say something.
Right. But if you don't have anybody in the company structure that can formulate it to where it doesn't expose you to liability, it doesn't expose you to other things. Like, if you don't have anybody there to navigate the verbiage and navigate the messaging, then you say nothing. And the problem when you say nothing is it lets people's imaginations run wild with them. And that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, look, here's my thing. I mean, like I mentioned with the Josh and Brandon thing, Bowtech's been getting hammered in comments for quite a while. And, I just think people should give them a shot again, like not look at them so negatively, because I do think the bows are really good. Like I said, I've shot them this is my 21st year in a row. And I like the team there. I like the people there. I think it's improved since I've been there. And I just think that, before you drop a troll comment, maybe go try the bows. And I think that's it.
Grace,
just give it a shot. And a lot of time has passed. A lot of water's been under the bridge, and I'm not saying they shouldn't address it. I think that would be wise. Mm-hmm. But if they do, then I think you should give them a shot either way. But once they do, then it's like, okay, now you really got to get in there and give them a fair shake when you go to purchase a new bow. Don't not shoot the Bowtech. Go shoot them all, because the bows are really good and Deadlock's great, as we learned.
Let's be honest here. And this is something that I did say to the Bowtech guy at ATA. I've said it to Gaius and I've said it to Steve Greenwood as well. Is it a product issue or is it an other issue? And so I've now, dude, Thomas Neely and I had the first Target Pro 40 models from Bowtech when we were making strings with Winner's Choice here in town, but I haven't had a Bowtech for 25 years. But I don't have anything negative to say about them. Every company has had their issues. And if you're in the comments talking about, well, Bowtech's limbs, yeah, that was like a decade ago, and other companies have had limbs issues too, so probably should close your mouth. But the problem is if someone's not going to try, like I said, I don't own a Bowtech, I'm not but if you're not going to choose a Bowtech, is it an equipment issue or is it an other issue? And if you tell me, oh, I didn't like the grip, or I didn't like the draw cycle, or I didn't like this, or I didn't like that, copy that. Everything ain't for everybody. If you tell me, well, I'm not doing this because Bowtech's decision with so-and-so, Kyle or Tim or whatever, and so I'm just not going to associate with a company that is going to do that. Okay, that's fair too, but then you also open yourself up to the fact that you need to understand the full story and you need to get all the information. And once you get all that information, you realize that, is that really it? Or do you not like them because, we could make all kinds of jokes, not that Bowtech is, but are you not going to TAC because of all the flat bills? I've been to TACs. Everybody there is not wearing a goddamn flat bill, and they're not all dressed in $2,000 in Sitka, and they're not all like, the first time I went, I was literally expecting everything I had heard, and it wasn't.
A hunting army out there?
And it wasn't.
No.
Yeah, there were some flat bills, and yeah, there were some dudes in Sitka, but there was way more in just normal shit.
Yep.
And so that's just the internet blowing stuff up. And so if someone shoots a Bowtech and doesn't want a Bowtech because they shot a Bowtech and they don't like a Bowtech, well, okay, that's cool. No problem. If you don't want to try a Bowtech or a Hoyt or a Matthews, or, if you don't want to try a Matthews because, whatever, or if you don't want to try a Hoyt because you heard, well, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
And my thing is it true? So
yeah, I agree. Let's real quick commercial break. I'm going to insert a commercial here, and my back teeth are floating. So I'm going to hit the bathroom and we'll restart.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. But right now, or right after this pod, go to www.bowdisciples.com and pick up your Bow Disciples Challenge 4 tickets. We've got 1 day, 2 day, and 3 day passes now, plus walkers and kids. Also, go to badlands.com and use code teambd because all of February, our discount code gets you 25% off. But you have to do it in February or that code goes back down. February, 25% off, teambd, badlands.com. Thanks for watching.
We are back from the sponsor break. Bowtech Archery, the sponsor of this podcast. No, but
Right.
But so first of all, I love all these topics. I think it's good to talk about stuff that is in the comment section. You know, it's important to address that stuff. But one thing that I think a lot of people would be interested in from you specifically is, I think what maybe a lot of people don't know about you that I didn't even know, the scope of it until I got here, is how much you have worked sort of not in a direct capacity, but sort of an agent capacity for people and help them, you know, get a sponsorship here or there, or line up deals and things like that. Obviously, right now you got the Beast shirt, Beast Broadheads, who you work with, and as do I, right? And you did my first contract, and we just did a second one. And I know you have a pretty limited roster of like guys you choose to say, that's a guy I want to work with, or a gal I want to work with. Mm-hmm. For the up and comers, because that was me, and it's many of others, you know, what are some things that you look for as kind of the guy making decisions whether or not to hand out a contract, whether that be free product, whether that be product and money, whatever it might be? Mm-hmm. What do you look for both as representing a brand doing those deals, but then also when you're helping the athlete connect to a brand? Like, what are some tips that you would have for those up and comers trying to get their first sponsorship?
Well, the first thing is authenticity. But authenticity, period. Authenticity is number one. It doesn't matter how good looking you are. It doesn't matter if you're dropping 200-inch whitetail like they're for free, or you're in the San Carlos shooting 400-inch bulls. Authenticity is appealing. Authenticity is sexy. And I don't mean sexy in a sexual way, but authenticity transcends a lot of things. And so when and yes, I have, you know, I'm not an agent. But
I thought you were offering your services. Lick your website after this.
Yeah, right.
Your personal phone number.
Yeah, right. But I've just been doing this so long that, you know, I know most all the equipment companies, and when I, you know, get to know somebody and I feel that they are someone that is going to be a good representative and a good ambassador for a brand, I'm more than happy to make a connection. I don't make anything off of it. I don't ask for anything off of it. But being able to connect dots for people is something that I've enjoyed for a long time, whether it's on the target side, the hunting side. I just like doing it, and I seem to be fairly decent at it. And so, but when it comes to someone, you know, up and coming, I know right now the big thing that a lot of people are, you know, oh, I got to have this camera, and I got to have this, and I got to have that. And I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. You do have to have professional audio. You do have to have good audio. But I built Bow Junkie on a fucking cell phone, bro. And so Mike's back.
Yeah. She can't.
So quality of content over quality of production, period. And so for me, whether it's someone I'm helping with a placement or someone that I am representing a company, which I've done a lot of, the first thing I look for is authenticity. I don't necessarily, you know, and so here's the other thing. There's levels to this. If you're a company and you want to sponsor Cam Hanes or Lee Lukoski, that's a much different conversation than sponsoring Bow Disciples or a step below Bow Disciples. There's levels to it, and the conversation has to change for each. But what doesn't change is the authenticity of it. You know, there's that's just what it is. And so content can be created, authenticity cannot. That's it. And so when you start to look at a pairing for a company, like I've never been fond of the just grab as much as you can, throw it against the wall and see what sticks. I want specific, targeted, strategic partnerships that are tangible and that it's a fit. Let's just use an example. Let's say that there's a guy who's out there who's wild, straight archery X Games level. He's out there, bleach blonde hair, wears some eye makeup.
Oh my.
Kills huge deer, parties on the weekends, doesn't do anything illegal, but he's out there. He's a rock star. Not a good fit for Matthews. Like,
Fair.
common sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Common sense.
Yeah.
Like, no offense to Matthews, but they're extremely Christian based. They're religious, and they have their program. A wild man is not going to be a fit for them, so they're not going to sign him. Some other companies love it, love that stuff. So what are we talking about? And so understanding those dynamics of the personalities and the companies and proper fits and stuff, like your guys' content, you have a specific aspect to your content that is fun, and it's funner by its design, by your guys' personality. Your content has an element of fun to it that supersedes the size of the animals you're going after. It supersedes the targets you're shooting when you post content down in San Diego at the range down there. It supersedes, your content when you're driving is not like other people. So fun for you is paramount. Yeah, of course you want to put animals in the dirt. Yeah, of course. And not everybody has that same dynamic. And so understanding the personal dynamics for people and the companies that they're going to associate with is super important. So number one is authenticity. After that, you can craft your content to suit your audience. And I know everyone's like, there's only so many audiences. Well, yeah, there is only so many people out there, but the problem is not everybody is drawn to the same thing. Mm-hmm. There is people out there that are, OGs in this game that are super dependable, very trustworthy. They toe the line. They are your, Greg Glessinger, for instance, from Huntworks. Dude's a savage. He's my age, but he is an absolute gangster when it comes to huge whitetails. He's up there with anybody with monster whitetails. He's an older gentleman, but his content is incredibly informative, and he's great to watch. His content is not like your content. His content is not like some other people's content. And so there's always crowds that are going to be drawn to specific things. And so understanding that is huge. And the thing that ends up happening is someone will try too hard, and then it's obvious. And when you're not authentic and you try too hard, Stevie Wonder can see that train wreck coming. And
Absolutely.
so that's kind of the one of the first things that I look for. The other is realistic expectations. When an up and comer, like you guys are still up and coming, but at least you're from the bottom level. You're at least you're on the first step, and you're going to start working your way up the other steps, and obviously keep going as high up the steps as you can. But realizing managing your own expectations. It goes back to what we were talking about some of the goofy stuff in archery, and hunters looking at someone that kills bigger stuff than them and getting all jealous about it and saying that they're douchebags. If you're coming fresh into this game, it's okay to look up to someone like a Greg Glessinger or a Lee Lakosky or a Jim Shockey or a Michael Waddell or a whoever. It's okay to look up to them and be like, Yeah. But coming fresh into the game, don't expect to get what they get. They've earned that.
Yeah.
And so you're going to need to earn that too. And we've seen people come into the game, make it a step or two, and then just crash out. And that's generally has to do with a lack of authenticity.
Yeah, it gets tired. You might get tired of or fatigued of putting on an image up front rather than just being yourself and documenting it. Another question I have is, so if it's call us step one, right? There's people watching this that go, man, if Bow Disciples is step one, over 100,000 subs, 80,000 Instagram, whatever on Facebook, TikTok, people are probably, man, if that's step one, I got a long ways to go. It seems impossible. Mm-hmm. What are the things you see people do who want to make it to step one and then hopefully more past that? What are the things you see people wasting time, or like the biggest thing you're seeing people missing on doing? Like, is it not posting enough? Is it not being consistent? Is it posting every week for a month and then not posting for 3 months? Like, what is something you see commonly that people that aren't even to step one are dropping the ball on that might be stopping them from reaching a step one?
Yeah.
So first of all, I understand what you're talking about when you say 100,000 subs and this and that and the other. That doesn't mean shit.
I agree.
You want to know what means shit? Is reach, video views, interactions, and conversion. Because you can go to many a YouTube and a Facebook and an Instagram page, and they'll have 380,000, and each post gets 22 likes.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I tell folks this all the time. We were just with Privileged Bow Hunter, and I think he's got like 14,000 subs. And what I told him is, I said, he was really fixated on the subscriber number. I told him flat out, and I tell this to everybody, I don't give a shit about the subscriber number. Yes, it's the first one people see, but what I care about is viewership number.
Correct.
The watch hours,
Yep.
the engagement. I care about that far more than the subscriber number. Because there's ways, like our Instagram's actually a good example. Our engagement is getting better and it's decent, but it's not near what it should be for our follower amount. And that's because we had a mega viral video at one point that I think has over 100 million views, and it got in a bunch of followers. I'm talking thousands a day, but a lot of them were bots or from India or this or that. And as a creator, it's great to have the big video, but it's also like, man, now our engagement numbers look like this. And it does fix itself, but it takes a long period of time.
It does.
Of losing the fake followers, which no, we didn't buy them, but they do flood in on those mega viral videos.
They do.
It takes time for those to drain and to build authentic ones. And it's finally getting to a more healthy place. But I agree with you that the subscriber total, that's not nearly as important as the engagement total.
Right. 100%. And so one of the things that I see, and, I was around social media when it first started, and, back when Facebook was the wild, wild west, and you could build mega pages on Facebook at the beginning. Mega. The algorithm was open. I don't even know if they had one back then. They're just like, Facebook,
yeah.
And it's like, well, fuck, man, this is like, I was never on MySpace, but it was like, come get some. And so, but what I see happening right now, and, a lot of people will assume that this is not as in depth as it really is, but what you post on Facebook is not what you post on Instagram. What you post on Instagram is not what you post on YouTube. And what you post on YouTube is not what you post on YouTube. I mean, it's TikTok. And it's just like, Jesus. And so you guys know the difference between shorts and
long form and all the different platforms. And it's like, how much people don't understand the amount of time, the people that are doing well at it and growing, they don't understand how much time goes into creating the specific content for the specific platform. For sure.
Because it's not all the same.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that It's really interesting being in the content space. And I put my first video on the internet in 2007. I created bike content from 2007 through 13. So I've been doing the internet game a long time, and we've been doing this since 2018. But I think a lot of folks who aren't in content, they just assume that the videos edit themselves. They put themselves up. Right. All that happens on its own. But like a trip like this, for example, where we come and we film 3 full-length videos with you and a podcast. And then we're going to go film with Paige, probably at least 3 full-length videos and a podcast. We're going to come home, and I mean, just on editing, not including the photo stuff she's got to do and the thumbnails she has to make for it, I'm going to be in what I call dungeon days, where I'm at the computer editing 12 hours for days and days and days to get through all this footage while making the long form version, seeing the good shorts and cutting those out, finding the funny stuff and putting it here and there. Like, right. It's a lot of time and effort, not to mention the time it took and the money it took to drive all the way up here and film all the stuff. Right. That takes time too. And then drive all the way back. And then I think unless you do it, you have no idea the amount of workload and time it takes. I think where we're really fortunate is I love making videos, and I love having fun shooting bows, and I love hunting.
Right.
So I would do it either way. It just has happened that we've done it for long enough and grown enough to now it is something we're able to do for a living. But the effort was the same when we weren't making anything.
Right.
And I think if people don't have that passion to do it for 5 years or more for free to get to that point, it's probably never going to pan out.
Right. And one viral video doesn't do it.
No way.
At all. And I mean, like right now, Facebook has the highest ad rev and Facebook has the highest per view rate. But, which they're owned by Meta, but this part is weird. But Facebook is also restricting the most accounts. But Instagram's not. So you're like, wait a second, you're owned by the same dude.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
It is interesting. Yeah.
But Facebook right now, because they're trying to recompete, because some of their, things that they've tried have failed. And so Facebook is trying to, and let's be honest, the people on Facebook are the people with money. Sorry. Like, you can love Instagram and you can love TikTok and YouTube's not bad, but dude, Facebook is an older demographic that has money, but they're the most restrictive. So their ad rev's the highest. Their
earning it
per view rate for content creators is the highest, but they restrict hunting a bunch. So it's like, who the hell is running Facebook versus who's running Instagram? Like, what? And so, but yeah, I mean, folks understanding what it really takes. It's not like people think. Like, I've been doing this so long, I don't give a shit no more. So what I post on Instagram is the same as what goes to Facebook. I don't care. I'm not doing, that's not what I'm doing it. And so, plus I'm on like my freaking 3rd Instagram and I've been shadow banned for fucking years at a time. But anyway, that's a whole nother podcast. And so for folks like you and the folks that are looking at you, like when you said, well, if Bow Disciples is step 1, I would probably put you guys more on step 2 than step 1, simply because of the monetization effort. Mm-hmm. Not just on social media monetization, but contract monetization, website monetization, swag. Like, you guys have made it not over the mountain, but you've made it over the hump. And so now you're to the point, and this is something, I don't know if it was you or whoever I was talking to, when I was like, plan on losing money for several years. You have to invest in it. The travel, the this, the that, the other. And you guys are now, I'm not your accountant, but you're to the point now where you're going to be damn near, in the black if you're not already in the black.
Yeah, the scales have tipped one way.
Yes.
But my point is, like, the scale, once it tips a lot faster than it took to get it to tip.
Correct.
And I think a lot of folks, unfortunately, don't have the persistence, the passion, or the drive to do it. And I always say, to me, the biggest reason why I think our program has worked and will continue to work and grow is because I've always been by nature super persistent. And I think that persistence is something that is lacking a lot of times in people wanting to create a career on content. They might have a great 2 or 3 month run, but then there's nothing. Well, that just doesn't work. The algorithm almost resets you every time.
Literally what I was just going to say is the folks that think that there's only one person I know that cannot post for 3 months and post and shit blows right up, and that's David Goggins. David Goggins is the only guy that can disappear for a couple months and then make a post, motherfucking everybody in the world, and it just blows up. He's about it. Everybody else, especially the people that we're talking about, they need to understand how that algorithm works. They need to understand that the consistency of posting is a real thing. Like, create it, vault it, schedule it. And I know 10, 12 years ago when I was really into it, the scheduling mechanisms on Meta sucked donkey balls.
They're still not very good.
Still sucks.
Okay. YouTube is a lot better
now, and it's all definitely better, but the whole concept of Meta being there so you can, like, you know, schedule from Instagram and Facebook all in one location. Meh.
Yeah, there was third-party apps when I was doing it, and they would crash all the time, and then your shit would never post.
Yeah.
So if that's not much better, that's kind of disappointing, but not surprising.
But you can still schedule, and so it's like,
yeah,
you just have to put, and James knows because he's a million light years better than I am, you know, like light years. But it's like, we know people that suffer from it. And
a lot.
When we use the word algorithm, and everybody, you know, when you hear algorithm, like, it's just kind of a sense of understanding, like, what, you know, you understand what algorithm means, but like, it is literally this coding mathematician math problem.
it's a living organism
To the computer.
Yeah.
Correct. It's a real physical thing like this on the screen that you can't see happening every single time your post goes up.
Correct.
And so it's not just like this blase-faire word that's being thrown out here and there. It's an actual thing.
It's not the Matrix.
Yeah, this is not the Matrix, but it looks like the Matrix.
Damn near.
You know, scrolling through the inside of your computer, you know, taking data from your post and saying, okay, you know, this is what you talked to. Like, it's literally can listen to you.
Every word, everything.
Everything. And then on top of that, it's then going back and seeing per second, like how many views it's getting. And all of this is coded in likes and comments and, you know, whatever. All of this is getting sucked into this math problem that's going on behind your computer screen and saying, okay, it's going to get seen a little bit more the next time. And, you know, for layman's terms, and a little bit more the next time. Well, as soon as you stop, it's also taking that into account.
Yeah.
Like, that's how in-depth this math problem, I've never seen the math problem, but it exists over there in math.
It does.
And it's taking that non-posting time into account. And it's essentially just like you not doing your homework.
You have a ranking.
In the next day, it's saying, nope, here's no star for you today on your math problem. Like, we're sending you back down the list.
And one of the things I find, even for myself, can be discouraging, and I know a lot of people deal with this, especially people that haven't done it as long. But what happens is, I call it waves of how your stuff is sent out and engaged with. So sometimes everything you're posting on YouTube will be banging, getting great views, great likes, great comments. And then all of a sudden you'll go through a phase where like 10 videos in a row, they're doing better than they did when you were small, but they're not doing as good as that run of 10 that was slaying. And you're like looking at them and you're like, the content is actually quite similar. That can be very discouraging to creators. And it took me a long time I used to study the stats and analytics so much and be so tied to the numbers, and I still know them really well. But if a video or a series of videos is not pumping like they were 2 months ago, I have learned that you just have to ride the wave and keep going, stay persistent and keep going, and it will come out. And what happens is it's like a real estate wave. It goes in waves like this. Right. So your low wave this time is higher than your low wave that time. Your high wave here is higher than the high wave here. The worst thing you can do is get to those moments where your Instagram posts are not getting as many likes or engagement as they used to. The worst thing you can do is stop because you're discouraged.
Correct.
The best thing you can do is hit the NOS button and post more.
Double down.
I have found.
Double down.
And I think the quicker you learn that, hey, it's a machine. You can go look at the reach. Not as many people saw it. That's why the numbers are lower. Don't get discouraged. Just keep pumping stuff out, and the wave will go up.
Right. Well, and what people don't understand is, one, everybody has a ranking on this algorithm ranks everybody, and it's ranked on your frequency of posting. And that's like I tell everybody, if you're posting on YouTube or Facebook, don't type the word YouTube.
Oh, no, definitely not.
They consider that's a competitor. If you type the word YouTube in your Facebook or your Instagram post, your reach is getting restricted. That's a competitor. Mm-hmm. If you take this podcast and you take, I don't know what service you use. I use Libsyn, but whatever. And if you just post a Libsyn link or a straight link to a YouTube, ain't nobody seeing that shit because it's taking them off platform. Mm-hmm. They're going to restrict you sending somebody off of their platform.
Yeah, it goes in, I learned this recently, it goes as far as in-depth as, because it used to just be the platform that you post the content on. Well, it's even the platform that you make the content off.
Correct.
So like, I use CapCut, which I believe is through
So it's owned by TikTok.
So if you go to post on Instagram, it recognizes who you exported
metadata
that short from. Yep, that metadata exists, and you can't go in and manipulate it, And so, like James uses, he stays to just third party, not associated. He uses Splice.
Really good, by the way.
Instagram came out with edits. So if you use edits, they're going to prompt you more in the algorithm because you're using their editing software.
Correct.
And so it's very in depth. But the matter of the fact is, I don't care two ways to Sunday whether you're using CapCut, Edit, Splice, whatever, but are you at least just at minimum what you can do yourself is still post.
Yeah, right. That's it.
Sure, take the hit if you enjoy CapCut more than Splice. I find CapCut has way more transitions and their captioning feature is light years better. I have not tried edits, but, so if you find one you enjoy more and you're able to use it more comfortably, so you're going to be able to get through that edit process quicker and not get discouraged because you don't know how in the hell to use the editing, thing you downloaded, then who cares? Use the one you're comfortable with because it's going to make you feel more comfortable in editing and getting the content out.
Right.
So I don't think you should care as much as about getting it off CapCut. Now you could shortwave things and you could screen record what you, then it doesn't know which one you got it from. But, it's just, I don't think, even though it is in depth, you should start analyzing it that in depth. Because what's the phrase you always use?
Analysis by paralysis. Paralysis by analysis. I said it backwards, but
analysis paralysis is a real thing.
Oh, big time.
And so if you start getting into this, I don't know what editing do I need to go edit one on edits for Instagram and CapCut for TikTok, and slow your roll, paralysis by analysis. Just edit it and post it, or just edit it and schedule it, because at that point your paralysis is gone, and you're just getting the work in. And that's what's going to create or improve consistency, and then determination and confidence comes with it. And then you'll see the numbers improve. But as soon as you start diving down, I've had so many conversations over the last year of not just the editing programs, but like you said, oh, this person said I need to use this camera and I got to go buy this lens and I need this ND filter. And I didn't, learn how to color grade before I posted it. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. I can't listen to you any longer. Just please stop talking. It's too much. Because at the end of the day, you just talked my ear off about all these things that need to be done. When's the last time you posted a video?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. As you were talking about all that stuff, you kept talking and you weren't working, it blows my mind away.
Yeah.
I do have a couple other ones that still go along with this for the smaller channels. If, you'd like to keep going.
No, go for it.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty deep in here, so.
Yeah. So if you want to end with these ones in this topic, we can. I just know, like we had this same question from Andre with Privilege BH as well, because he obviously lives in Hawaii. He's getting out of the Navy in a few years. He's going to be coming back stateside very soon here. And he was like, as my channel's starting to grow and take off more and more, what's your opinions? He asked us. And Lou, I'm going to ask you, on going to these trade shows and things like TAC and talking to companies face to face. Do you think that truly benefits me in any way? Should I spend the money to go to these things? My sister asked the same questions, she was going to go to one up in Pennsylvania just a couple, or this week, I think what's going on. She was like, I don't know, would it benefit me to talk to them face to face and them to meet me and whatnot? What are your thoughts? Cause I'm sure you've been at a booth when maybe a teeny bopper channel comes by and is like, hey, I'm such and such with, grassroots channel. I've been using Beast for, 2 years now. Do you think that helps or hurts or is a wash?
Well, I guess the easy answer for that is it easier to go to somewhere social and pick up a woman and go on a date, or is it easier just to call her and try to get her to go on a date?
It's easier to just call her. I don't know. Isn't it easier to just call her, right?
No, absolutely not. If a guy, not you, you're engaged, but for a woman, if a guy just randomly calls you out of the blue and asks you out on a date, what are you going to say?
Oh, yeah, I get this now. Yes, no.
Whereas,
no idea who
whereas
you
if,
are and
correct. Whereas if a guy, whereas if a guy walks up to you in the bar and you actually get to see him, interact with him and read his body language, and you're much more inclined to be receptive. So the answer to that is positively, all of the percentages.
That's okay. I answered the metaphor wrong here, but I gave him the right answer.
Correct. Then. Yes, absolutely. If you're cold calling or cold emailing, you're fucked. Just stop. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. You're not going to stop. You're wasting everyone's time. When I get, and I would spend this way for a lot of years, when I get the to whom it may concern through the customer service or sales at company email, delete.
Yeah.
No.
That's good to...
Go to the events. And yes, I've had thousands of people come up to me at events over the last 20 years and shoot their shot. And the only shot you don't make is the one you don't take.
So many phrases this podcast. I feel like I need to quote them all.
Well, I've been known to throw a couple out there, but if you're not doing it in person, you're not doing it at all. So, and that's not to say you walk up and you just give them your 30-second elevator media, pitch, but you make a connection. And the best way to do it that I have ever seen is, number one, if you're going, we'll just use broadheads since I work for a broadhead company. If you're going to a trade show or a TAC or a whatever, and you're like, I want to get a broadhead sponsorship, or I want to start a relationship with a broadhead company, so I'm going to go talk to 7 of them. Don't talk to me. Don't come talk to me. I'll sniff you out, and no, dude, no. if you want to make a connection like that, first of all, find a brand that aligns with you. Find a brand that aligns with you. Use their product. Tag them in social media. They're not going to, the person you're going to talk to is not going to see you. Not going to see you tag them, because generally you're not talking to the same person. But let's just use Beast, for instance. If you wanted to get a relationship going with Beast, first of all, you better be using the product, because I'm a dick. And my very first question I'm going to ask you is, and I ask it all the time, is, what are you shooting right now? And if you tell me you're shooting another broadhead,
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
It kind of already answers the question, you know? Like,
Deuces.
yeah.
But if you come up to a guy like me at a show or a TAC or Vegas or ATA, and you're like, hey, I'm James Visser from Bow Disciples. And I'm like, hey, what's up, buddy? And you say, hey, man, just wanted to meet you. I'm a fan of the product. Man, you should go check out my social media, man. I had such good results with the Beast last year. You know, I'm not out there shooting. No, like for you, it'd be a great example. Look, man, I'm not out there shooting 200-inch whitetail every other day, but man, I'm having fun with it. I'm out in Arizona shooting havies and, chasing coos and stuff. But man, I had a good year last year. I really enjoy your product. You should just go check out my social media and let me know what you think. Here's my card with my social media on it and my email.
Yeah.
I'll put that bitch in my pocket, and then you just kick rocks. Don't sit around there and glaze nobody. Don't sit around there and make it awkward. Take your shot, kick rocks. You said what you had to say. Don't be a creeper. Don't be a foamer. Don't sit there and try to jack the company off. That shit's not going to work. Come in, establish who you are, establish that you've already tried the product, and then validate both of those with the fact that, hey, go check out my social media, dude. I actually used I tagged you guys in it, but go check out my social media, man. I had a couple really good hunts with your product. I enjoyed it, man. Here you go. Nice to meet you, big dude. Or whatever people would call me. They call me all kinds of shit. Yeah. I appreciate your time.
And then keep it moving.
Get to stepping.
Yep.
High stepping. If I don't want the conversation to be over, I won't let it be over. If I don't have anything else to do and you have piqued my interest, I'm not going to let you walk away. Then you're in there like swimwear. Now it's up to you not to fuck it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But get in there, establish a few things. This is one thing. Like for me, when I give you my business card, it has my name, my email, and my phone number. But I'm not doing what you guys do. Put your social links on your goddamn business card, for fuck's sake. Put your name, put your name, phone number, email on the front. Put your socials on the back so I don't have to search your ass down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Make it easy, for Christ's sake.
That's a pro move.
Help me out. Help me, help you.
Yeah.
If I got to search, because you know how it goes. Oh, yeah, look me up on Bow Disciples. Oh, I'm BO_W_backslash_disciple_S_.
Right.
Bitch, I'm never going to find you. And when I look 2 or 3 times and I can't, I'm out. Put your damn thing on the back of your card. Come in, establish those 3-4 things, kick rocks.
Well, I think it's so smart that you say, because when you think like a business card, it's like, how many people hand those out anymore? But if your goal is to go to these things and meet people, and like you said, a brand that you actually align with, believe in, have used, don't go stop by all the bow companies trying to get a bow sponsor. But if that is your goal and you're like, I freaking love Beast and I want a freaking Beast sponsorship, and I feel like at this point I've earned it, my numbers align, I've done my research, did you show up with anything like so they can remember you, If it's no, well, yeah. Do you think they're going to remember your BO_LM_75276 No.
Absolutely not. I'm not even going to try. I won't even write it down.
Yeah, and then on top of that, if you don't know this, like at a trade show, at a tech, these are different jobs. The marketing guy is not the sales rep guy, not all the time, especially with bigger companies. You know, it's the sales rep that is going to the shoot or the
To tax, yes.
or not like the
Especially.
ETA, whatever. They might send
The reps are there too, but
not,
Yeah.
you don't know unless one, you ask who you're talking to, or you've done your research and like you know their name and you did some real digging, I guess. I don't know. You LinkedIn the shit out of that. But if you don't know who you're talking to and you're talking to the sales guy, give them something so that they can hand it off to their marketing guy if they felt you were interesting or authentic.
don't ever do that.
They felt you aligned.
Don't ever do that.
No?
No. Don't ever do that.
So, like, if they walk up and they just meet
the right guys, the right guy, unless on a very rare occasion, the right guy's never going to get your card unless you hand it to him yourself.
That's what I'm saying.
Because you're not
them a card.
Because you're not just handing off the card. The card is the conclusion to your setup, and your setup was, "Hey, I'm James Visser with Bow Disciples, man. Great to meet you. I'm a fan of the product. I had a great year last year. Put down some dope havies, got some good footage. You should go check out my channel. I tagged Beast, but go check out my channel. And dude, I'm a fan of the product, man. You guys did really good. Here's my card. Bounce."
Yeah.
So the card is simply the conclusion to your setup, but your setup is not going to get translated from a rep to the proper person. Most of the time, your business card's not going to go from the rep to the proper person. So what you want to do is put some James Visser in your mouth and get persistent and disciplined. And you come back. If you come by the Beast booth and you're like, "Hey, is your marketing who handles your marketing sponsorships and stuff?" "Oh yeah, that's Big Greg." "I don't see a big person here." "Oh well, you know, his miles per gallon suck, so he's eating for the 4th time today. He'll probably be back in an hour."
Yeah.
In 45 minutes, come back and wait. And when you see Big Greg come back, or if it's Derek Phillips or if it's whoever at Bowtech or whoever it is, you come back enough times to where the shot you take is with the right person. Because the shot you take with the wrong person isn't a shot at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well said.
and people go to, I mean, I've been getting media kits for 20 years, and for television shows and stuff, I get it. But literally giving someone a media kit right off the bat in today's market, once you get to a certain level, of course, like if you ask Lee and Tiffany for a media kit, they're going to laugh at you. We don't have those anymore.
Yeah.
We're fucking Lee and Tiffany.
Yeah.
Get it. Someone who is probably just below your level, like the ground or level step 1, probably not going to need a media kit at that point either. You're getting to the stage now where your stage and a couple steps above you, that's the middle ground. That's the media kit levels.
Yeah.
Jim Shockey and Lee Lukoski and Michael Waddell,
They don't need that shit.
you ask them for what? Cam Haynes. Let's call Cam right now. "Hey Cam, send me over your media kit." He's going to go, "My what?"
Yeah.
I don't have that.
You know me or you don't, you want to work with me or
Facts. And so that's the main thing is understanding how to get the opportunity to shoot your shot with the right person. And it might take you 3 tries at the Beast booth until you get face to face with my ugly ass. But don't waste your shot on someone that's just going to have to up channel it anyway. Because then 1, it gives you false hope. And number 2, you ain't shooting your shot to the right person.
Yeah.
And so then, like, and this has happened shit in dozens, fucking hundreds of times. I'll come back to the booth, whether it was Vane companies or whatever it was. I'll come back to the booth and they'll be like, "Hey, this couple has come by looking for you 3 times. We told them you'd be back in an hour." I'm like, "Okay."
And they never come back.
And they never come back.
Yeah.
And I don't ask their name. I don't say who was it. I don't say none of that. But someone will say, hey, there was this couple, this short chick and this other dude with a mullet. In which case I'd be like, a mullet? would pique my interest.
Yeah, right.
But I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Think twice about that shit. I got other stuff to do. But then guess what? When a short chick and a guy with a mullet comes walking up, the first words out of my mouth, because I'm not new to this, is I'm going to be like, you guys have stopped by a couple times today, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what do you got going on? And then you get to shoot your shot.
Exactly.
And then so I know you've came by several times because you've intentionally made sure to, one, find out who the right person to talk to is. And number two, you have been disciplined enough to make sure that the only person you shoot your shot with is the right person to shoot your shot with. And if you never get a chance to talk to me, there's the next event.
The next event. Yeah.
Persistence and discipline. And when you get a chance to do that and then you kick rocks, like I said, if I don't want the conversation to be over, I won't let it be over. But if the conversation is over and I got other shit to do, I'll let you walk away. But I'm going to look at your card and I'm going to be like, dude, I've come home for the ATA with 70 business cards before.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot to sift through.
No, it's not. Kept 5.
Kept 5. There you go. Easy to whittle them down.
Yeah.
Well, if you meet them in person, again, like that authenticity and that organicness of that person, like the marketing person, hopefully, is a marketing person for a reason. Yep. And when you come up and you meet them in person, you kind of you work for whoever you hope works for that company for a reason. You know, if that company is going to want to work with somebody like that, if they intrigue them enough to want to work with them, all of those things, like just by meeting them and talking to them face to face can start to align. Right. But I think so many people, what you're describing, and James would agree, he knows at least one specific person, are so scared of those steps right there. And if you don't know what you don't try. Right. You know, you can't succeed.
Gotta let the brakes go.
Don't try.
Gotta let the brakes go.
And that step stops, I think, 90% of the people from succeeding. And I'm also like, well, maybe you weren't, I'm not saying meant to succeed, but like, if you weren't persistent enough, were you ever meant to get there?
Yeah, if you're afraid to do that, then you're too afraid to succeed anyway. Yep. And all you can do is ask, and all someone can say is no. You're not asking them out on a date.
But it's also the only time they can say yes, right?
Correct.
And that's so important, is you got to ask the question to get a yes or a no. But one way or the other, you have an answer, right? And if you never ask and leave the bat on your shoulder, like I said, you're going to watch 3 strikes go by and go right back to where you came from. Right. You have nothing to lose.
Correct.
This is something you have to learn when you're 21 trying to get girls for the first time. You got to try with a whole bunch, you know.
You're right.
He's not saying go try with a whole bunch of companies, though. Don't listen.
Well, dude, I mean, look, I didn't get to this point just because I'm an asshole. I've literally received emails that were addressed to a competitor because they were fishing. Fishing with a PH. That means sending shit to everybody, hoping to land something. And I'm just like, fucking, you forgot to change the name and the company. And so you're sending these to, no. And so, you know, that's part of the problem that we have in our space is so many people have gotten some form of luck without the personal interaction of it. And so, you know, all the stuff that I'm saying is not, and I didn't make it up. It's just from years and years of learned behavior. And I'm probably the easiest and the hardest. I'm probably the easiest and the hardest person all at the same time when it comes to having these conversations with fresh folk. Like, you remember when we had our conversation, I went outside and probably not many marketing people asked you the kind of questions that I did about your future and who, like, I asked for all of it because I'm asking questions that I want to know. And so I'm the easiest because I understand the process, and I'm the hardest because I'm going to ask you real shit. And if you can't answer those questions, that's a red flag for me. And you know, that's just what it is. But there is nothing for free out here. And whether, you know, back to the 100,000 subs and all that, those numbers are cool, but man, just do a little bit of research and you'll see all kinds of pages on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook that are fucking monstrous pages, and they get
12 likes and no comments.
Dude, it's wild.
No shares.
None. And so they're
even the ones with lots of likes and comments at times, and you're like, how? I'm in this space. I know this person. They don't seem that relevant to me when I see them and then you do a little digging at the comments and you go, you know what? A lot of these are
correct.
Not legitimate.
That's right.
Right? And likes can be bought too. Not on YouTube, which is a cool part about YouTube.
Likes and, well, everything but
Instagram, a lot of
Instagram.
There can be some good
on Meta, you can buy likes and comments.
But someone like you knows how to sniff that out. No problem.
Correct.
Right? It's not hard.
No.
So you're not fooling. You might fool people that don't know what they're doing, but people that know what they're doing in roles like yours, you're not fooling anybody.
No, well, and I'll tell you another thing.
It goes back to the authenticity.
Correct.
You're not being authentic to probably yourself, but for sure not with your numbers.
Right. Well, and like, so right now, just to use you as an example, you're not at the level yet that, and I won't need to when we grow the relationship with Beast to the point, I won't have to because I already know you. But at your subscribers, at your social media like and subscriber levels, someone who is savvy is not going to ask you for your demographic information. When you get to 500,000 and you approach a new company, like if you had 500,000 when we met, and your shit's grown good since we did our thing a year and some change ago. If you had 500,000 when you and I had our first conversation, I would say, hey, so I'm going to need you to email me your demographic information for sex, age, location. And a lot of people are going to go, yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah. And there's a couple reasons. Number one, if your main audience is girls that are 13 to 17, I don't care how many likes and shit you're getting. I'm not shit selling shit to girls that are 13 to 17.
Mm-hmm. But if my audience is 35 to 50, 97% male, and mostly in California, Texas, Pennsylvania, and New York, hey, we might be in business.
There you have it.
Right?
And if you're, you know, if 42% of your market for your YouTube or your whatever is in Pakistan, yeah, I know exactly how that happens. And I know exactly how much it cost. Yep. And that's something that a lot of marketing managers are afraid to ask. And a lot of people in your position, like, you're smart and savvy and you're not going to do that. After this conversation, when you get to that point, you're going to be like, remember what that fucking dummy Poole said? I'm printing that shit. I'm putting that shit in my media kit.
Yeah. You already do, actually.
Well, we actually pulled it. So the first 2 years, which is it's so funny talking to you about it, because it's like, yeah, you're learning on the spot. Like, right. I'm no marketing agent. I'm no branding agent. Like, you know, I just try to keep him within the yellow line, right. You know, and sometimes we
stay in the rumble strips.
Yeah, that's all I care about, you know, like, as long as we don't do anything too crazy, you do whatever you want, you know? But as far as that, like, side of the house goes, yeah, I do those things for him, but, like, I ain't trained in it. Right. So the first 2 years, I was fucking throwing every analytic YouTube and Instagram and TikTok gave me into that media kit. Right. And I had pictures, you know, looked like the female restroom, like, it had every analytic, the age breakdowns, and we went back and we looked at it and we were like, this is so much information. Right. And I think last year was the first year I cut it out of the media kit. Mm-hmm. But it's so funny to hear from you, because I wouldn't have known that, like, within our level right now, that number doesn't, you know, not that it doesn't quite matter, but, like, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But when you're up there in that 500,000, well, I need to know what percentage of that 500,000 is actually going to convert to sales 100% potentially. Like, you might have 500,000, but maybe only 75,000 of them
count for shit.
Apply.
Yeah.
Like literally for you, or for anyone really, all you would need in your media kit is audience, male number, female number, age, a couple, location. You don't need, like, the states. That's cool. I don't give a shit what states. I care what country.
Yeah, right.
So if you say America, 93%. That's all I need to know.
Right, yeah.
That's all I need to know. You're in California, of course you're going to be. Like when I was talking to Cam Haynes, one of his biggest cities for Cam Haynes is Los Angeles.
Of course it is. My two biggest
Los Angeles?
my two biggest demos forever has been California and Texas.
Yeah.
And I go back and forth on what's number 1 or 2.
Well,
and number 3, I could tell you, is Pennsylvania. Pretty
Oh, well, there's a lot of bow hunters there.
Florida pops up in there, but
Right.
California and Texas are number 1 by a lot.
But-
and you know why? Because there's a shitload of people there.
Yeah,
Well,
but
when you're
America.
out there.
But America.
And we're in America.
That's the number one thing is it does, any sponsor you're going to talk to is going to care about the sex demographic, which for you guys is going to be pretty simplistic. It's going to be 90 plus male, just is what it is. If you were Jason Momoa,
96,
if you were Jason Momoa, maybe it would be a little, yeah, it'd be a little more female. You know what I'm saying?
The mullet's been helping.
That's what I'm saying.
Numbers.
Yeah. So
It has.
yeah.
They've been going-
Yeah. So if you were Jason Momoa or Brad Pitt, it would be a lot more, it would be way more even, but just the sex, the basic age breakdown, country. That's it.
Yeah.
Well,
That's it.
there you have it. I think this is easily our longest podcast ever, and I liked it. It was
Well, I live here, so I have no idea how long this has been going on. So
long. I think it's almost 3 hours.
I know it's
just
dark.
chatting. I think so.
I know it's almost dark.
So I appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad we
We haven't even talked about what you did the last 2 days with your bows and arrows.
No, I think to make people hear about that, go to the main channel and watch the videos.
Y'all are gonna.
And you're gonna watch it.
Y'all are. It was. I will say this. Thank you. I will say this. I have never worked. It wasn't or worked. Tuned. I have never tuned a Bowtech with their deadlock system on it. That was pretty fucking handy. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm really happy because your rest was not exactly the easiest. It was not a target archery rest. It was a fall away, but it was not a fall away intended for a lot of movement. And so, yeah, I was pretty impressed with that. But you did good this weekend. It was great having you guys up. I've really enjoyed spending time with you, and the progress we made with your arrow build and the tune of your bow was fun to watch today. And I'm not gonna steal any of your shine, but witnessing what you were able to do today was that really inspired me a lot, because I still remember my experience, my similar experience, and I'll never forget it. And so that was cool to watch today.
Well, dude, once again, thanks for having us. Thanks for all the help. I know it'll make a difference when we finally finish the journey to Vegas. And just stoked to be friends with you and a part of Beast. I love the heads and have had great results. And thanks for showing Brianna the good coffee spots.
Human being for the win.
Yeah.
Still have not finished mine.
Yeah, so
There you
you
go.
can subscribe to the podcast channel, 5 stars, Apple and Spotify. Share it, follow Big Greg Poole on Instagram, and we'll see you in the next one.
Holla at your boy.